Well, what do you know? I finally caught something on video. Now, as I've said before, these aren't the biggest lake. The biggest trout here at this plant. They put the big ones in on the other side, of course. But hey, I just caught something. I'm not complaining. Well, I haven't actually caught him yet, so let's try not to speak too soon. There we go. Nice. This is 4,000 pounds of trout being stocked by the California Department of Fish and Game. Last year, we got hit with whirling disease. It kind of decimated the planter rainbow trout in all the hatchery system throughout the state. They had to kill off a lot of fish. They had to order new broodstock fish. They've kind of got things back on track, but as you'll see in a second, the trout are still pretty small here in California right now. I mean, we have big ones if you know where to go, but the general stockers that come from the DFG, to call them a half pound would be generous. And usually we have average of 1 pound trout stocked by these guys. They did put bigger trout in on the other side. The biggest one at the Derby was 27 inches and 10 pounds. That was one of the Nebraska tailwalker trout that they bring in from the ranch in Nebraska. They planted those in one spot and these in one spot, and by the time you realize where they're going to plant, if you haven't already got a spot, it's too late. Thousands of people come up for the Derby. But some people will try anyway, and that's why it's kind of dangerous the way they're doing it now. They're forcing or encouraging everybody to cram into 2 areas. In previous years, they would plant the fish from a boat. They'd go around the lake and throw off fish in all the different areas where people camped, and it would encourage people to spread out. But now they're putting all the little ones in one spot, all the big ones in another spot, and it's just been a huge mess. Fights going on over parking and lines crossing, and they used to call it combat fishing as a joke, but now that they're doing this planting in 2 spot things, they've taken it to a whole new level. So this is a photo of the fish that won the Derby. It was 27.5 inches and 10.5 pounds. Sorry, it's kind of going to zoom out and back and forth. That's just how my silly editing software loads pictures. I don't know what to say. So there are some big trout in there. They just need to start changing how they plant them to give everyone a fair shot without crowding in. Do whatever you want. Don't let anyone tell you you can't, and have a blast doing it. Well, what do you know? I finally caught something on video. Now, as I've said before, these aren't the biggest lake. The biggest trout here at this plant. They put the big ones in on the other side, of course. But hey, I just caught something. I'm not complaining. Well, I haven't actually caught him yet, so let's try not to speak too soon. There we go. Nice.